We set up a time to meet prior to when we start. When you show up 3 minutes before you start,
I was here. I was trying to get this thing situated. It sucks.
I show up typically an hour before the show.
Yeah, tell the people why their time is invaluable. Welcome to the HVAC Overtime Show, everybody. The most downloaded HVAC entertainment podcast in the world. You know us. We know you. What's going on, guys? Everybody strapped in for tonight?
Strapped in. I'm honestly
wearing a strap on.
I feel like I've been abused like
nice.
multiple times. I'm sore.
Well, I mean, did you join a church or something?
I mean, you know, there's like I'm not kidding with you. Bill knows this. There's like 4 things that I can't talk about. Like I cannot talk about.
I don't know if it's just 4. I think it's like
that are insane.
It's creeping up. Like
there's a lot of stuff that I just can't even mention. It's so bad. It's
like here. I'll do this real quick. Here's a list of the things we can't talk about from Crap. Boom. Right there. You see all that stuff?
Exactly.
Like,
it's just ridiculous.
And it's growing. It's growing.
Then we can talk about some of the other stuff, like the stuff that I can, you know, can I tell you guys? Well, first off, finish your intro before I get into that. You got anything else?
What's up, everybody? Fish Hambone. Hambone's got a lot of cool stuff going on, by the way, guys. So pay attention to that dude. He's going places. What's up, Dave G? Herman Lloyd. Who else we got in the chat? Oh, yeah. Big shout out to our number 1 fan, Randy Ravioli, and his little buddy Luke. You know, Randy this week was, I guess you might call it, mentioned in the April Air reviews or April Air. What do you call them?
Yeah.
Something like that.
He left a comment on their website or something like that, like a review.
He's essentially a consultant for April Air now.
That's right.
Absolutely. If they need a consultant,
I mean, he's like, he's right there. He's just arm in arm with the
up north in Joe's area. They got a representative, famous YouTuber that talks about the April Air stuff. Now down here in the States, we got Randy.
We got Randy Ravioli.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true, Chris.
100%.
I don't know his name.
Simon Harvey. What's up? I've never seen him. Is he a repeat offender here? I've never seen the name before. Simon Harvey. What's up, Simon Harvey?
Yeah.
Simon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say that sounds like a suspicious name. Are you a real person?
Yeah.
Bailey Anderson. That doesn't sound like a real person. Sam Vale. I see the $5 million man. Is he high? An action figure can be high.
There's a lot of new people in here too. So
Jesus Fish, sex offender. Well, it's about time you finally admitted it. We've always known Jesus Fish.
So
we're clearly. You said he had a represent.
Yeah. Good.
$1 million man.
You said we had a represent. What?
What are you talking about, Jay?
Who's the cut?
You got to talk, Joe.
Oh.
You got to talk.
Yeah, words.
Oh, okay, sorry, guys. You're saying about the April Air, but who is the representative for the blue stuff? We got 2.
The blue stuff.
Loctite.
Oh, Leak Lock.
Leak Lock.
I don't know.
So
Toothpaste. Blue paint. Blue Man Group. Bluey.
Yeah.
Blues. Blue on Black. Famous song by Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
It's almost like
Brothers.
We've never streamed before, and
Blueberries.
we're just getting used to this, like talking over each other and stuff.
I know. I can't stand. I usually kill Bill for talking over everybody. But you know
only dots that aren't actually in the box of dots?
Oh man. All right. So let's start this off with a little public service announcement. I haven't been feeling too good lately, and as I get older, I feel like, I haven't been active enough. So decided the other day, my wife's been begging me to like ride she has one of those stationary bicycles and she wants me to ride that every morning. And I'm not into that. I'm not into like fake stuff. But the other day I came home and I was like, man, I feel like I just need to get outside. I'm trapped in the house. Let's go ride our real bikes around the neighborhood.
You got it, Chipmunk.
So Jill, my wife, said, yeah, that's a good idea. So it's been a long time since I've ridden my bike, right? So I had to go rummage through the closet to find my shoes that are like cross-training shoes or whatever, right? So as I'm going into the closet, I start to notice my closet that we never open. I get in there and I realize that there's like this shelf that holds all of our shoes and it's all rotted out. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm confused. So we dig into that and we realize that behind that shelf is a bunch of water damage, like a crap ton of water damage. The whole floor is ruined behind it. And I ended up having to cut a giant 4-foot by 4-foot hole in the wall to realize that there's a shower valve that's been leaking for what I can guess is like 2 months in the wall.
It's got to be more than that. Like looking at that wood that you showed us a picture of, like it's got to be more than that.
I don't think so, but let me show you and we'll see if anybody realizes. I'm sure someone in the chat will catch this right now. So let me hit my share screen.
So while Chris is getting that loaded up, yes, welcome Bailey. Chipmunk says you are new to the group. It's a different kind of group. Just remember, there's a lot of swearing and weird things that are said. And,
yeah, exactly.
And, so maybe don't repeat all the stuff we say to your friends.
Yeah. So this is the backside of my guest bathroom that my kids use, and that's the shower valve. And on the right-hand side, you can clearly see the left-hand side, that's drywall dust. But on the right-hand side, you can see calcium running all the way down that line.
What is that? 1, 2, looks like 3 couplers.
Yeah,
on the right-hand side there.
Couplers. But the big thing is, does anybody realize that there's nothing supporting that shower way valve?
That's crazy.
Just hopes and prayers.
There's no 2x4 behind there. There's no straps, no anything. And then I found out from my kids that when they move the shower, that moves. And it's like, oh, I never go in my kid's bathroom, so I didn't know this.
But isn't it great though? They just like, it must have. I'm like, how long ago do you think they noticed it started moving? Because now it's just like been a part of their daily life where they're like, it's just part of the background of their world. So they don't tell you about it.
Yeah. So to be fair, though, to be absolutely fair, they may have told me. A lot of times I'm busy,
just don't listen.
I didn't listen. I don't know, but I don't think that I don't know. But
I mean, that is on the list of things to talk about, is to address your listening skills.
Yes. Definitely need to work on that. But
and
on the plus side, it's really, really easy to change because I get to back fit.
I like what Clive says here.
What do you say?
It's a shower joystick.
Yeah, exactly. So this was my emergency solution at 9 o'clock at night, was shut off the water to the house, throw 2 ball valves on there real quick, soldered on 2 ball valves, just shut them. And then, but it didn't stop there, right? So I find the leak. I'll show you guys the floor in a minute. The floor is completely ruined. Put the ball valves on there, shut it off. And then I get that done. And then I decide, hey, it's time to turn the water back onto the house. The gate valve on the outside of my house broke when it was closed. So I couldn't turn the gate valve on. You guys can see my floor is completely rotted out.
That's been longer than 2 months, dude.
Yeah.
And
then
I mean, that's like fossilized.
I had a gate valve right here. I have to say, gotta love ProPress because there was still standing water in there.
What's up, Cyborg?
I wasn't going to be able to solder it, so the ProPress was bitching to be able to throw that
Savior,
valve in there. Yeah,
that tool, I tell you, I know
it is.
So, my first thought was like, how does that get past the stringent California code enforcers? Like when your house is built, that it just wasn't strapped up.
This house was built in the 80s, dude. Oh no, that's been replaced. There was a bathroom remodel before I moved in.
Oh, okay. So it was missed.
But Bill, when I was telling Bill this, Bill was all confused as to why I had to shut off water at the street.
Yeah.
And I have a water meter at the street. Do you guys not have water meters at the street?
Well, we have those, but I don't have access to them. Like we got to dig in, and usually the city is the one that comes out and they locate it because we don't have like that fancy cover. So the city will come out, they'll locate where it is underground, kind of dig down like a foot, and then they take this tool and go down in there like you probably did too, and then they shut it off. But yeah, we don't have
when he mentioned, the main water valve in my house is failed. And I was thinking to myself, and Bill Pryor thought the same thing. Oh fuck, he's screwed. Because if that happens with us, we're screwed. That's the last.
Yeah.
That's the first.
I mean, you're not going to get the city out there anytime soon.
Yeah. That's right.
You know,
going.
No, so yeah, luckily, like my wife said, she says, well, at least you know how to fix this stuff. And I was like, yeah, but like
that's
at
true.
9:30 at night, there's nothing like running over to Home Depot to try to catch them before 10 when they close to get all these parts, and
but like I was thinking about that, when this all this stuff happened to you, Chris, I was thinking about stuff like that as well, because I have this rental thing that I'm trying to do, and like my house is a little bit newer, so I haven't run into a lot of these problems yet. But I almost like take it for granted that like we have these skills that make us a little more handy capable than just your average, office schmuck or whatever you want to say. But still, like, it doesn't mean you want to do it. Like, you don't want to do any of this. Like, I don't want to do any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it took me a year to install a humidifier in my house.
Now, we also have, so Hausch is saying you can buy the tool to shut off the water at the plumbing supply houses. So at my water meter at the street, it's just a ball valve, basically, that it's you have to use a crescent wrench or whatever, right? So you can buy the big wrench or whatever, but there's also a water somewhere out in the street too. I don't know where that is. Like in the middle of the street, there's a main shut off too. That way they can shut off multiple houses at once, but I can't get to that. But yeah, luckily I was able to get everything shut off. So this weekend I get to spend putting that shower valve back in.
And you're going to do the drywall too?
Yeah, we'll do the drywall. I'm going to support it with a 2x4 and actually strap the shower valve to the 2x4. And
you're going to spackle it and mud it and sand it?
No, I don't do I've done that once and I'll never do it again. I'll go ahead and put drywall up there and call someone, because I still have to. It's funny. It's convenient that I haven't had the drywall guy come to my house to patch all my supply grills. So I've been meaning to call him. So now I'll get this.
There you go. Yeah, do it in one shot. Get it all done.
Yeah.
Well, what about the painting? Are you going to do that or farm it out too?
Painting. I'm not worried about that.
Oh, I hate painting.
But that doesn't explain my floor. So
that's what I told Chris, Dave. Like the main water meters in the house.
Yeah, so our meters are in the house.
In the house, yeah.
And like we have
a
go ahead. We have a valve in the house. Like I can shut it off at the meter in the house. But like if that were to break, like in Chris's situation, I can't go to the street and shut it off. Like I don't have that option.
Yeah.
And just
we also
recently
don't know what cold is here, so that's why all of
that's the main reason.
And the water shut off to my house is right out in front of my house with no insulation on it, and
that would never happen here. It would be frozen in one winter.
Now, when I used
everything straight from the ground.
Yeah, when I used to live in my previous house, our design winter temperature was like 32 degrees. So yeah, we had to insulate water lines, and like our sprinkler lines would freeze where the manifolds were and stuff, so we had to insulate all that. But where I'm at now, the design low is 37, so yeah, we're fine.
I just realized this. It will never weird me out more than seeing bare water lines outside, which is, well, it's true. Copper lines, like that's what they did, like straight in the ground coming up.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. And that makes no sense to me.
As the chat has said too, Joe, you're not talking on your microphone, you're talking on your webcam right now.
Oh, good.
Tap your mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Al said it too.
Yeah, you're not.
Oh, yeah.
No? Good catch, guys. It's on my pods. Good catch.
Good catch.
There you go. That sounds better.
Oh, my God.
But,
I hear you better.
Talking about plumbing. So, again, I got this rental deal, which my buddy Sam in the chat there, he's part of this whole deal with me. And we had to redo all the plumbing in this house. All cast iron. It all split from being abandoned and just left to rot for 10 years. And so we had to gut all the plumbing out of the house. And like my romantic idea was to come in and do it myself, but I've never plumbed an entire house. I can fix a few things here and there, but long story short, we ended up farming it out to like a gaggle of Mexicans came in and just like knocked it out in 2 days, dude. Like it was badass. Like they just ran pecs for everything. And then when they were done, I was like, I could have done that. I was thinking about redoing all the copper and like I'm making it look nice, you know, like I'm gonna put the elbows and the straps and this, and they're like fucking 900 feet of pecs, like boom, staple it, glue here, glue there, crimp it, and whatever. And I was like, well, damn, son, I could have done that, I guess.
Yeah.
That story had no point. I just wanted to tell people stuff.
Actually, I didn't know that a group of Hispanic people was called a gaggle of
It is called a gaggle. Mm-hmm. It's a gaggle of Mexicans.
Here we call that a group of Hispanic gentlemen that are standing around waiting or helping. So,
and then you pull up and you say, I need 3 laborers.
I've never done that in my life.
No, don't lie. It's California.
I'm 100%. I have never done that. Never done that.
Done what?
Actually gone to Home Depot and got laborers to come help me.
You know, I was telling people the other day, I forget who I was talking to. Maybe it was you guys. I don't remember. But I was saying, you want to solve the immigration crisis. All you got to do is put a Home Depot in a big parking lot right next to the border. They're going to jump that fence, see the Home Depot, and just linger around the parking lot.
All right.
And then you get
them. Not laughing at this. This is all Bill.
This is all true. This is a true idea. Patented. All right. Nope. Well, you guys don't care for my idea. Let's move on.
Nope, we don't care for your idea at all. So go ahead and move on from that because we are not going to get in trouble like Bill. So,
which, by the way, guys, half my family's Mexican. So I got my card.
True. Maybe that's your pass. Yeah.
I got my card that says I can talk about Mexicans.
Hey, where's Adam at?
I don't know. He abruptly canceled like moments before the show.
But
promised us.
There was a promise there.
There was a promise
that he wouldn't miss again
for a very long time.
For a very long time, yes.
Yes.
I mean, how many times can you use the excuse, well, I just fell on it and now I have to go to the doctor? Like,
yeah.
You didn't just fall on it. You don't just fall on a shampoo.
Cars do not just magically go up there and stay up there. So, no.
I agree.
Yeah.
That was like a month ago.
Oh shit, my leg.
Hospital for that. So,
yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking of next show. I think I mentioned you guys, but you guys were off in La La Land last week. But anyways, I was gonna get a governing guy. I could get him a governing guy that does reinforces the gas code, gas fitters in Ontario.
Oh, Mike Holmes?
Not Mike Holmes.
Oh.
So he has so many stories from contractors, DIYs, from houses blowing up, and him going there to investigate.
Sounds like the Jim Davis of Canada.
Jim Davis, yeah, and
I wouldn't. The only person I trust, the only expert I trust from Canada is Mike Holmes. I don't trust anybody else. It's Mike Holmes or nobody.
It'll be good stories. I'm telling you, it'll be good stories.
If it's not Mike Holmes, I don't believe him.
Oh my god, what happened to Mike Holmes? He's still doing it?
Yeah, but he's
Mike Holmes isn't he the guy with the earring, right? The older guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He I watched like a Dateline special or something like that about a bunch of. He did like an endorsement deal, and he probably shouldn't have done it. But
with those new houses,
deal with a bunch of houses, and they were certified Mike Holmes great houses, and they're literally tearing them down.
Because what was the issue with them? Like,
it wasn't him doing the work; it was just an endorsement thing. They used his name or whatever.
Yeah. Assholes.
That sucked. They just totally destroyed that. I can't believe that he would have let them get away with that though, because like his reputation was a home inspector that found everybody's problems.
Right.
Yeah.
If my name's Dallas Stanley, I would not want to do that. Just put my name on there. But
you want to handle this one, Chris?
With the new company and the guy they have me with for the first week is cutting out the filter dryers on system leaks. Anyone knows if there's a logical reason to cut a dryer out rather than unsweating? Oh, yeah. Okay. So the theory is that when you unsweat a filter dryer, that the moisture that is encapsulated in the desiccant of that dryer, in theory, is going to release back into the system, contaminate the system, and then when you brazen the new dryer, it's just going to get plugged up from the moisture. But I call bullshit, absolute bullshit.
What?
So
bullshit.
You're going to pull an evacuation. What's the fucking difference?
I mean, that's true. That's why I don't even bother changing them anymore. I just
longer.
Why even change it? I don't.
And if you're purging with nitrogen,
Don Gillis in the house
doing the work. Yeah. So I understand. No, but like think about it. Like and it's it's best practice to cut a dryer out, and I will try, but in reality, if you're purging with nitrogen and you're pulling an evacuation, I really
But
don't see the big deal.
really, the only reason I've ever unsweated them is because I've been burned before where I cut them out and then I don't have my pipe stretcher and I don't have enough piping, and then I'm like I'm like chopping pieces up, and I'm like, shit, man, I just unsweated it, you know.
Yeah, I understand it's best practice, and it is a good idea to cut out dryers. If you have a lot of room, go for it. But when you're working on small stuff, when you're working on 5-ton package units, it's just going to be a pain in the butt. Like, it's not. So yeah, everybody does their own thing, to each their own. But like, I mean, if you're brazing with nitrogen and you're pulling an evacuation, the amount of moisture released is going to be so minimal.
So they're making dryers a little bit longer now.
Yes, and I agree. That is a good idea, Don, when they do extend them, because you can sometimes, like if you order a Lennox dryer for the Lennox package units and they send you a Sporlan one, it has the extended connections. It's not the tiny ones. I also agree that, I prefer extended connections. I wish the supply house sold dryers with extended connections, but yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to cut dryers out all the time. I cut them out when I can, but most of the time
I leave the same one in, and then I just hit it with some spray paint before I go.
Yeah, and I agree, Al Anonymous. It is a holdover, in my opinion. It's the same. Again, I'm not saying it's not a best practice. It's a best practice. You should do it, but the same theory of pulling a triple evac, there's no point in a triple evac anymore either. Because if you're sweeping with nitrogen, you're using large diameter hoses, you're removing the cores, you can pull down most light commercial systems within an hour or two. You're not leaving vacuum pumps on overnight for a package unit anymore, because that was when they were using 1/4-inch hoses and pulling through shaders. So
exactly. There's no such thing as evacuation. It's just purging. Purging is a new evacuation.
So again, it is a best practice, and there is a logical argument to cut them out, but
on paper,
it's not practical all the time. So if I can, I will, but majority of the time, you just got to unsweat. But you got to, and I think the most important thing, and I say this quite often too, is understanding the ramifications of taking shortcuts is the most important part, right?
Absolutely.
So,
that's a good point.
Doing refrigeration work, you don't have the time available to pull a perfect 200 micron vacuum on every refrigeration repair. Nor, let's say you're changing a compressor, okay, or you're just making a leak repair. You don't have the time to always do that. In a perfect world, yeah, of course, but you have to understand the ramifications,
Pull a vacuum for a day, 24-hour decay test, triple evac it again just to be sure.
Yeah. But it's been proven that a triple evac really doesn't do much other than push stuff out with the nitrogen, which I agree that before you pull an evacuation, you should sweep the system with nitrogen to push all the air out. Sure. Yeah, that's a good idea, but I don't see the need in a triple evac really. So
yeah, and I would say, on top of that, and this is kind of just my own little side rant, like on top of doing all the best practices nowadays with everything being so expensive and people not wanting to pay for proper services anyway. Yeah. I'm not saying that you have to cut corners, but I feel like in some situations, long gone are the days where you can spend all day doing everything to the scientific specifications as if you're putting together a refrigeration system in a laboratory. Like, residential people aren't going to pay for that stuff.
If you have a refrigeration system, and see, I talk about this a lot when I make videos too. If you have a refrigeration system that you did a leak repair down at the evaporators, right? And when you did the leak repair, you pumped the system down. You stopped the refrigerant flow coming out of the receiver at the king valve. The compressor kept pumping. It backed up in the receiver and the condenser. And then you shut the system off. You pull your low side hose off to give, what vapors left in the system room to escape, right? And then you braze what you need to downstairs. And then you go to pull your evacuation. You will never see a perfect vacuum on a pump down system because the king valve in the receiver leaks. The reed valve in the compressor leaks, or the scroll is going to leak. You're not going to see you're not even going to see a 500 micron vacuum. You'll see it hit 500, but you're not going to see the decay stay at 500. So you do your best. I still pull down to 500, but you're going to see the decay come back up. Couch. Triple evac comes from a time when micron gauges were less of a thing, so it was a best practice because the tools were different. Exactly.
Many
And
things.
Yeah.
so, you
2
know,
smokes and a lunch break. That's all you need.
Right.
the biggest thing is I mean, even if you don't have 3/4-inch diameter hoses, like, right, the True Blue hoses, just pull the cores out. Pull the cores out. If you're going to use 1/4-inch hoses, it'll be so much better with the cores out versus with the cores in, you know?
Yeah. I can get
do your
behind that.
Is he referencing Adam what his little thing was, or is
Hey, hold on.
this something?
I got to go
Oh.
off screen for a second.
I don't know what that means.
Did anyone invent the electronic nitrogen detector? No, it's probably something else. Something else.
Yeah, I don't know.
When it was okay, forget that.
Freon Leon says he uses triple evac on burnouts instead of acid cleaners. I don't use acid cleaners. I don't do a triple evac. All that I do, if I have a severely burnt out system, I'm just going to cut as many spots. Like I'll isolate just the condenser. I'll cut the liquid line coming out of the condenser, the liquid drain, and the discharge line coming out of the compressor, and I'll blow the condenser out with nitrogen. If I start getting nastiness blown out of the condenser, then I know I got to do something else to try to get it clean, whether or not it's, who knows, you know. Same thing with the evaporator. I just cut and isolate components and blow them out with nitrogen. The important thing to remember is when you're trying to blow something out with nitrogen is, let's say you have a condenser, right? And you cut the liquid drain, is you have to cap one end of it, build up pressure, and then let it out, and cap one end, build up pressure, and let it out. So that way you give that nitrogen a chance to scrape the walls and blast it through. I've gone as far as I had a system that was severely contaminated, and I took polyester oil and I purged that through the system. I let the polyester oil build up in the condenser and then blasted it all out, right? Because polyester oil is a great thing to grab it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than using a solvent, right? Or some kind of chemical.
That's a cool idea. I like that idea.
Now it's a mess, you know.
Yeah.
It's a mess. You got to do what you got to do, but
it depends where you are. Yeah. Leave the area, it's all fucking pooling up oil.
Hausch says mix a little refrigerant with the nitrogen. I mean, you know.
Okay. Refrigerant's the best.
Dave G. I just blow in the pipe when soldering. She's golden.
Well, you know what's funny? They say that because you know, I met a guy, and this was not too long ago. And anyways, this was the last little argument I had. And anyways, he's in the past now. But his claim was, if you put nitrogen in a pipe, listen to this, put up nitrogen in a pipe system, say you're brazing something up, and let it off and not purge, it's good to go. You're good. You don't have to purge the system, the copper line. You just put nitrogen in, let it off, turn it off, and braze.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think that's correct, because the theory is that the nitrogen is going to displace oxygen.
Right.
So
That's the theory.
You have just nitrogen flowing through, basically pushing everything out, so that way you don't get that oxidation or whatever it's called inside there.
From the atmosphere. But
look, let's also say something. In a perfect world, you purge nitrogen on every job, you pull the perfect vacuum, you do everything. Then there's what's happens in the real world. You do your best. As long as you understand the ramifications and you know if you have to take a shortcut, what potentially could happen, and you're ready to solve that problem.
What sucks is when you don't have to take a shortcut and you're still thinking that's the right way, you know. And I was trying to ask this guy and tell this guy, but he's one of those guys. So you know what? And that wasn't the first time, and I didn't get along with him. To be honest, stuff like that, when you can't talk with somebody or communicate with somebody, it just starts to drift away.
So Brian Sanders makes a good point. And again, in a perfect world, you have certain hoses that are just for evacuation. Okay. And the reason why is because refrigerant hoses, they are not 100% leak free, right? There's lots of moisture, contaminants, oils stuck inside the hoses. That's going to off gas when you're trying to do an evacuation. That's going to cause problems. So in a perfect world, your best bet is to use dedicated evacuation hoses. That is 100% true.
Yeah. Plus you use them so much, the gaskets get worn and everything. I knew a guy, HVAC, I thought this was Ben because the logo looks
your logo looks like Ben's logo, dude. You know Ben from HVAC Tactical? It's like
bend over.
It looks just like Ben's logo, but with the flame on it.
Yeah.
But anyways, so you knew a guy that would hold his fingers over the service valve, let pressure build up, and say, yes, it's holding. I mean, honestly, I was taught that way. I was taught.
I knew a guy, not to interrupt you real quick before I forget though. I knew a guy that would pull a vacuum.
A little loud, eh? A little loud.
Yeah.
Seems.
Yeah.
Is it? What are you talking? I didn't adjust my. I didn't do anything since I left and came back.
Yeah, it's sometimes it gets really loud. For
Maybe you guys' ears are just so sensitive.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyways, go ahead with your story.
All right, how's that?
Sure.
I dropped it down like 10, whatever, 10 numbers.
Awesome.
You guys are dicks.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, tell your story.
Look at finally Joe gets to pick on Bill.
I know.
Anyway,
He's so sensitive. Yeah,
Chris wants to tell his story. So anyway, I knew a guy, may or may not have been a service manager at one of my previous companies, that when he would pull a vacuum to break his vacuum, because he wouldn't use core removal tools, he would just take his hose, pull the hose off it real quick, and then put his finger. Well, no, I take that back. He did have core removal tools, but not. He didn't use the removal tool. He removed the core, put the hose on there, pull the vacuum, pulled the hose off, put his finger over it, and then would hurry up and put the core back in there. So I'm like, you're golden, dude. Yeah,
the interesting, that's an interesting experiment. And here's what I would challenge someone to do, or that person, is I would challenge them to put a vacuum core removal tool on there. Okay. Put a micron gauge on the micron gauge port.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Hold the evacuation, close the ball valve on the vacuum core removal tool, put his finger there, open it, move it real quick, put it back on, close it, and give it 10 minutes and tell me how high the vacuum rises. It's going to be a lot higher than he thinks. Minimal amount of moisture does a lot inside of a system when you're down below 500 microns.
Yeah.
So, but I was taught a lot of that stuff too. So, okay, wait, there was a, let me see, Ryan Hughes from Misfits and Hughesman HVAC says carrier RTUs and the damn Cormax fittings make me have to pull through a manifold. I 100%. That's the same. What you can do, the Cormax fittings are a dumpster fire. Okay. So the Appion came out with those core depressors that are for the Cormax fittings, but I'm going to tell you, I like using them. They're cool, but out of every time I use those Appion core depressors on a Cormax fitting, probably 4 out of 6, 7 times I use them, they leak because the core depressors, or the Schrader, the Appion core depressors, they damage the Cormax. Like even brand new ones, they don't set right when they go back down in there. Like those Cormax things are just stupid. They are absolutely stupid.
I don't understand the purpose of those. Just like a heavier duty Schrader core, is that what they're going for? I don't.
The whole idea of those is that if you use normal hoses, you twist them on there, they open that, 80% more than an actual Schrader. So it's faster and more better, like it's mo better. Hausch is saying they used to purge without pulling a vacuum and call it good. So I started to say that a little while ago. I was taught on systems that when you got done making a repair, you would just put the R22 back in there and open up the high side, take your low side gauge off, open the high side. This was pre-EPA laws, okay? You would open the high side, dump the R22 on the high side, and it would start coming out the blue hose, right? And you would just hold your finger over it, until you felt like, okay, that's just refrigerant. It pushed all the air out. Now I could think like that's completely wrong because that hose is connected at a fitting where it's still going through the system, but only some of it's coming out the hose, right? So that's not an accurate way. There was so many incorrect things we did in the early 90s, right? Late 80s. But the systems were forgiving. You could get away with that kind of stuff. It was 8-SEER equipment, mineral oil, R22, R12. You could get away with it. But with polyester oil, that polyester oil acts as a solvent. It cleans the lines. So anything that's built up in the system, it plugs up TXV screens. It's just nothing but problems. Plugs up EEVs, plugs up cool vapor valves on the ice machines. Like just a nightmare.
There's some great chat inside the chat. So, yeah. Don Gillis says, I've never not pulled a vacuum. That's interesting.
You should try it, Don.
Don, there was like, I would say the first year and a half of my career, I did not have a vacuum pump. Now that was wrong. It was absolutely wrong. And I was incorrectly taught, but You know, I started to question like the things that I was being taught. That was before I went to trade school too. And I was like, this isn't right. But you know, it was
I
old
mean,
school
you
times.
don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Old school times.
You know.
So did you see that post about all the Red Lobsters? I think you sent it, Bill, eh? About all the Red Lobsters are going down or bankrupt or what? What's going on here?
Yeah, that's the rumor.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know.
We're not bankruptcy is just protection. They still want to.
They're restructuring. They'll still be around. They're just restructuring. Look at Toys R Us, like or even J.C. Penney. Like we take care of.
Don't look at Toys R Us because Toys R Us still hasn't come back. They're just
I mean they're back. They're starting to build some brick and mortar stores again.
I think they're building one brick and mortar is what I heard. They basically came back in retail stores. They were popping up in
they're coming back in retail stores. But I've heard they're building some brick and mortar stores. I mean, I'm not up to date on all the things, but
Bill's like
or even like J.C. Penney.
J.C. Penney, that's
like
close there as well.
For a second, it did just real quick.
But yeah, like
as long as it's not
yeah,
go ahead.
They've restructured like I don't know. 15 times, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that affecting any of you guys or well, I guess you're not gonna say anyways. You guys are not gonna say.
So Sanders, they're actually not part of Olive Garden anymore. So Darden Restaurants sold off Red Lobsters couple years back. I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. They sold off Red Lobsters to a private equity group. So Red Lobster is an independent company. Darden may or may not still have a very, very small minority stake, but they don't have control of the company anymore. And the reason why Darden said that they got rid of Red Lobsters was because the seafood market was way too volatile and they couldn't have consistent pricing. And that's their reasoning. So Darden Restaurants now, just their big claim to fame is Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, and a couple other ones. But those are the two in the Southern California market is Darden that they run. There's other ones too, but yeah.
I had an old car and used engine vacuum to evacuate the AC in the car. Cool, because they do have vacuum cars, right? I'm pretty sure Tom could talk on that.
But
it's interesting. I wonder what the micro engage would have to say about that.
So, going back to, the stuff that we were talking about doing your best. There's sometimes you can't be perfect. Again, it's important to strive for excellence, but it's also,
it's also stressful to constantly strive for excellence.
And it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because if you stand up and look around at the world, the sea of people that are striving for excellence, it's more like a raft in an ocean.
Yeah. So Jason Johnson, this world does seem to be getting swallowed up by large corporations and conglomerates.
That's a good segue into the Next Tech stuff.
I was gonna, awesome. Glad you mentioned it.
I've been seeing these Next Tech vans all over the place. And it's only been like recently, me and Chris have kind of been talking about them because they've been buying up places in California, and Chris had mentioned it. And then I started looking around. I'm like, holy crap, they're all over the place. These Next Tech vans.
Yeah.
They're like,
so Next Tech is a mixture of what is it? Metrotech,
CMS, right?
CMS, and a couple other companies. And then they've just been, they've been buying up a lot of places. So I hear good stuff from some people. I hear bad stuff from some people. I got nothing bad to say other than they're popping up everywhere, So,
and I wonder how long will it be until, they really make some real big moves? Because it seems like, they're buying up big companies like CMS. That wasn't a small company from what I knew or what I know about them. But like when they start buying even bigger companies or even like bigger parts distributors, or what if they just go buy Carrier?
So, well, at what point? Okay, right now I don't think they're too big, right? But when will one of these big conglomerate companies start buying up manufacturers too? So, it starts to make you wonder. Yeah.
Hey Ryan, how did they take those? How did they take those stores from you? Like, what was their foot in the door? Was it maintenance agreements?
Oh, Is that what
Yeah,
they're doing?
maintenance agreements. That's kind of what I hear is maintenance agreements. Again, we're not talking bad. We're just stating the stuff we're hearing. So
I hate them.
Yeah,
I
have nothing bad to say.
Everything I have to say is bad about them. Their vans are stupid.
Hey, they can offer the customer nationwide service, so that's a big selling point.
True.
So,
is that what it is?
We used to do work for a Family Dollar. Man, I tell you what, they don't put Family Dollars in the suburbs in nice areas. They're always in the ghetto.
I got a phone call from Family Dollar probably about 9 years ago, and we told the dude our rates and what he was willing to pay. I was like, I'm sorry, not gonna happen, bro.
Yeah, and dude, the Family Dollar, we always had to argue. Anytime we quoted anything, we always had to go. We had to argue with them. Why are you doing this? Why is it going to take this amount of time? Like, they didn't want to pay for nothing, and it was just, I just hated it. I hated that account.
Yeah.
Lennox briefly owns Service Experts.
I never heard of them.
Yeah. They're,
is that a big company?
Yeah. Big company. Lennox still has their commercial division through NAS, National Account Service. So they still have their guys.
Hey, Michael House says he's not heard of Next Tech around there.
Now that we said something, the same thing's going to happen that happened to Bill. You're going to start seeing them everywhere. So
start looking out. I mean,
just keep him there.
Maybe it's because we all live in a simulation. So the more we talk about things, the algorithm that is the matrix that we all live in just starts populating these things.
Your life is YouTube. Yeah, you're right.
This is all a simulation. Now, the question is, are you guys a part of my simulation or am I a part of your simulation? Are you guys real and I'm fake? Or are you guys fake and I'm real?
I kind of hope that I can just wake up and everything was a bad dream. Kind of what I hope right now. I hope I wake up and start this year over.
Maybe you did wake up.
Hey, actually, did you see the post? They have some life on Mars. I seen some spiders. That's what they're saying.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they haven't gotten to the frozen lake underneath Mars, because in Total Recall, they just had to warm up the frozen lake and then they oxygenated the environment. So
I forgot we've already been to Mars and we filmed a movie there.
And we figured it out. We found the relics and we totally turned on the thing with the 3-finger Spock hand and
What was that guy's name that lived in the belly of that other guy? The main character guy.
That movie the other day.
Dude, it's right on the tip of my tongue. But I keep thinking of Krang from Ninja Turtles.
I was thinking Kane for a minute, but it's not.
No, it's not Kane. You guys in the chat know what I'm talking about, right? Total Recall, that weird little monster thing that lived on the belly or in the belly of that main guy.
What is it? Oh, someone in the chat's got to tell us.
Come on, somebody has to tell us because I'm
Let me just read this. Bill, we just had Big Clive. We just had our local street lighting contract taken over by a company that uses one-day trained laborers to work 24-hour shifts on live electrical equipment in a wet outdoor environment.
Quaid.
No, it's Quanto.
Oh no, Quaid is Arnold Schwarzenegger's thing. Quado, Quado is the mutant.
Quado,
that's right.
Quado, yeah. Sorry, Joe.
That's all right.
Did you see that? So 24-hour shifts, 1 day of training, working on live electrical. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Do they have unions down there, Clive? I don't get how this is that one. I for me and seeing what's out there here, I think that would never happen. But that's, I don't know. The linesman here, it's this big company. It is kind of already happening because this big company owns everything on the linesman side, mostly.
Every once in a while, Jesus Fish invents a new word that I just like.
Which is?
What? And you changed it. Where'd it go now? Right there. What in tardation?
Tarnation?
Tardation.
Like tard.
So Clive brings up a good point. Despite when they do get sucked outside after he turns on the oxygen machine, but the reactors don't melt the water fast enough for the frozen ice to create the oxygen, right?
To create the atmosphere.
Their eyes pull out of their head, but then they all just go back in and life goes back to normal.
Yeah, because that's science, Clive. That's how science works. It's not my fault you don't understand science and eyeballs.
I don't understand why we don't just ask Arnold to help us colonize Mars, because he's already done it.
He's too old now. And that was, don't even get me started on that.
Somebody had a thing saying thoughts on union versus non-union. This good old
Look,
blogging
man,
book,
it depends on what's good for you and your family.
right?
I'm not going to
100%.
talk crap either way.
Nope.
Yeah,
There's
because it's a
good and
heated
bad on both
discussion.
sides.
Yep.
And you know what? I put it like this: there's dipshits that work in the union. There's dipshits that work in the non-union.
You
Yep.
got it.
You know, and there's also geniuses that work for a union and geniuses that don't work for unions.
You got it.
There's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing wrong with either one. It really just comes down to what works best for you and your family. And, you know, in your area, like in my area, unions are not really big. So, you know, unless you want to do institutional work, government work, for the most part, unions aren't super strong in the light commercial sector.
Retard mafia.
Right. Right, Chris.
Oh, why does that word make me laugh?
Which one? Oh,
I'm pro union, but not retard mafia unions. That's what Clive says. I agree, Clive.
yeah.
You know, why do we think about, you know, when Adam canceled, we should have, I don't know, seen if Clive was available tonight. I miss Clive. I miss
We
talking
need to
Clive.
start bringing guests back on. We haven't had guests in a
Yeah,
while.
we haven't
It
had
was a
guest
short
in a while.
notice. It was a short notice.
Yeah,
He
that's
was almost
true.
did a no show. Almost a no show, Adam.
Yeah, it was a short notice.
But yeah, you know, I've you know, without the unions, a lot of things wouldn't be in place over here for the trade. So kudos to them. But like Chris and Bill, you said, like it's to each his own. There's some benefits and there's pros and cons for both.
We don't censor nothing here, Clive.
He's been gotta have guests. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Some guests once in a while is okay, but not all the time. We don't like guests all the time.
Joe is the guest gatekeeper. He's
the guest Nazi.
He
I don't
doesn't
say
like
anything.
guys ever
You see me
notice?
here with guests now, right?
Look, let's put it this way. If you're a guest on this show and Joe is here, you need to feel honored.
You
Joe
do.
just doesn't do guests. So
Joe hates 97% of all the guests we've ever had. 100% true. Hey, did you guys see the NFL draft is in Detroit this year?
I don't know anything about football.
I thought it already.
I don't know anything about football either.
They already did it. They already did it.
What are you talking about? It's like happening this weekend.
How come I seen it
Or
on
like
sports
today
but,
or something.
My
I
daughter's
don't know,
having a
Joe.
prom.
Chicago Bears, but okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't
They're
keeping track.
actively doing it now, but it's in Detroit. They're actively doing it. I don't know if they're doing it like right now. I don't pay attention. I'm not a football guy.
Not for drafting, no.
No, I barely have time to watch a game. I couldn't tell you who won the Super Bowl last year. I think it was Taylor Swift and her boyfriend, but that's all I know.
Yes,
But no, like they were showing clips of Detroit, like downtown Detroit, where this draft thing's happening, and it's just like 200,000 people just packed into Detroit, and I'm like, I didn't realize the NFL draft was such a big draw, like such a big draw for a live event, because you're just going there for what? To just like they're picking people to play on the team, like.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was like that important. I was just like, oh, the draft happened. Whoop-de-doo.
So let me ask you, like in Michigan, because in California, whenever we have big events, they do this giant thing where they spend a crap ton of money and they go clean up the city and they move out all the homeless people and they make it look pretty. And then as soon as the event's over, it goes
brand
back
new
to
Detroit sign.
Oh, okay. Brand new Detroit sign.
Yeah, it was supposed to be all these giant letters along the freeway, along 94. They had this, they had a picture of what it was supposed to look like. This massive, like Hollywood sign style letters, lit up and everything. And then we got these like little stupid letters on cement blocks on the side of the road. Super gay, but I guess whatever.
Anybody hear about the guy? Sorry, Bill, that got arrested for smuggling in HFCs? Is that true?
Yeah,
or
he came across the southern border.
That.
He had bought a crap ton of like R22 or something like that. And
What?
smuggle it in. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Look at it this way. Someday in the not so distant future, like when all these big companies like Nextech start buying up all the companies and like all the really good HVAC technicians are sort of like either have died off, retired, or they're already taken by another company, I think they're going to have HVAC technician drafts for like the rookies and apprentice schools. And like our number one draft round pick is going to be fucking Joe Bob from whatever university.
Canada. I'm putting this out here right now. I am for sale. Someone needs to buy me. Buy me
do it
right now.
Buy him. He will
make
do
me an offer. Buy me. I'll
What's
come.
the number, Chris? What's the number?
I don't know. Just come. I just need a good paying job. So
he will do dirty things.
I will do dirty things. Come buy me.
He won't.
Buy me.
Buy me. Oh, God. That just sounds so wrong.
HVAC robots.
I tell you, I'm doing a little changeover right now. I'm actively looking for a job per se.
You still looking? I thought you were.
And I'm at the same time registering a business. And if you guys ever want to make a quick website, I'm telling you, Wix. I don't know if any of you guys used it, but I've already made a quick, simple website using Wix. And I wish we were promoted by them, but we're not. I'm just talking true facts here. And got a good domain and incorporate and all that stuff. But yeah, Wix website, it's very easy to do. A simple
How many interviews you been on, Joe?
2. I'm
That's
waiting
it?
for
2?
one to get back. Yeah, because I know my worth, and I just I'm taking it easy, dude. This is the only time I had off to myself, to be honest. I've been working nonstop. This is kind of nice.
It's true.
Just relaxing.
That's true. You're
done,
not wrong. You're not wrong. Just
right?
remember that Danny Norian is Red Seal, a qualified Red Seal technician.
Do you have your Red Seal, Joe?
And
I'm actually doing. Yeah, I got everything, all my qualified hours, all my testing from school, all my schooling done,
So no.
all my certificates,
no.
but I haven't done the final exam, which I'm doing that as we speak. I'm studying a pre-exam course
So
this is a good time for doing that too. I'm doing that as well.
Danny Norian up here, Joe.
No, because even with all this and what I did for that Red Seal side, I'm still qualified. You could say as I still like, unless you go in union side.
I mean, don't make us break out the TXV video. It'll just shut you down because you don't know how to change a TXV like that, Joe.
Without using blue
with a paintbrush and just
paintbrush,
just like basically dipping the fittings into it,
Joe,
and just
multiple people. Gillis is asking and House is asking, what's the domain name or whatever? What's your name for the website or whatever?
Oh, it's for Wix.
handles the maple
WIX.
Oh no, that. Oh yeah, but
Don
Gillis was asking for a link. I don't know if he wants a link to your website or to the thing. I don't know. You put it in the chat if you want.
It's in progress right now. It takes
maybe
48 hours
to
confirm, but yeah, it's Wix.com to do the website.
Now I have to say, now granted, I'm a dum-dum, right? But I tried to use Wix and it just didn't work for me, dude.
Really?
So, yeah.
When did you do it?
I also have to have people help me with my like reels and stuff too. So I'm
dude. You're talking about you, dude. It's friendly for me. I can't spend a lot of hours on it, like at least a day. But yeah.
You know what? Speaking of websites, can we get rid of our website?
Sure.
We don't.
You just got to call the Canadian guys that built it for us and tell them to turn it off.
Yeah,
do you even know how to get a hold of those guys? Because I don't even know how to turn the website off, dude. You got to call the Canadian dudes. So
yeah, I got to call Thaddeus. What's his name?
All you pay is a hosting charge, which that's what I'm going to be doing as well. Obviously, you guys know, but
maybe still pay for the hosting so we keep the domain name. But I mean,
yeah.
If we looked at the numbers and crunched the numbers, we've had like one person go there. Haven't sold a T-shirt in
the month
3 years.
Yeah, guys, so go buy a T-shirt. What the hell? That's
don't
what you
go buy. Don't go buy any of our merch because I don't remember how to do any of this shit to get it to you. So don't buy.
Oh my god!
You ain't gonna get it. You will not get it. You won't get it. Don't.
We should have just ended the show on that note.
Funny.
Oh my god!
That's
I will send you a fart in a jar before you get that T-shirt.
So, what are your guys' plans this weekend? Just hanging out? You working around the house? Bill, you said
you
got to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I just got to. Actually, I had to step out of the show to take a phone call. I got a temporary chiller to install tomorrow, apparently, with a couple of guys from work.
Like the one with like where it comes in on a trailer and you have to do the temporary water lines and stuff.
Yeah, they're doing it tomorrow and Sunday, but Sunday is my baby shower, so I can't help out on Sunday. But I told them I would help out a little bit tomorrow.
I have it's my oldest daughter's senior prom this weekend, so we get to like see them off and take pictures and stuff. And then
she got the dress. I mean, obviously she's got the dress, but
yeah,
all set, ready to go.
Yep, my kid is strange. We were scouring thrift shops for like the last 2 months, and she finally found she wanted like a vintage dress or something.
That's
so
pretty
she's
cool.
going,
Cool.
But I mean, by all rights, the thrift shops in California, guys, like don't get confused. They're not like the thrift shops like from Ohio or Michigan, like where stuff is like $3 for a prom dress. I bet this dress was like what, $250?
No, I think she spent $50 on her dress. But Bill is the reason why though is because Bill is I was sending him pictures because we went like to vintage stores and like thrift stores and all this different stuff. And I was like, why are we at a thrift shop when a jacket is like $800? Like,
I remember that.
Sending it to them. Yeah.
I'm like, what? And I go, it's crazy. Thrift shops here are like, you're paying like $5 for a freaking jacket.
I just found a new side hustle.
There you go.
Hey, I could get a menu of like list your flavors, like beef jerky day. Some days I eat a lot of turkey burgers. I could probably fire up some potatoes. That gives all sorts of different smells.
Yeah,
that is true, Susie. Absolutely,
that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
So
good taste.
We are, and I'm just going to be doing that shower valve, and then doing some other. I'm going to try to after I get the one done in my kids' room.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah. I need to do the one in my master bathroom too, but baby steps.
Will Speed says Florida thrift shops are great. Everyone comes here to die. So there's awesome stuff for cheap. Yeah.
Sometimes I question whether or not I could live in Florida. I feel like I could.
What if Brian Orr himself came down from his throne and said, Chris, I need you to come work for me?
I'm sure I can ask
but you'd have to relocate.
I'm pretty sure he could ask him, and he would probably want that.
But would you do it, though? And we're not talking like, I'll give you $1 million sign-on bonus.
No,
like nothing ridiculous like that.
It's tempting. It's tempting. But I mean, I love Southern California though too. Like the weather. I mean, we don't have humidity here. That would be a culture shock dealing with humidity on the daily.
Everything is wet in Florida all the time.
Not being legally allowed to say the word mold when I'm at work is different. Because in Florida, you have to be like a remediation contractor to be able to throw the phrase mold out.
Really?
Super gay. Yeah. I couldn't live in Florida. I couldn't live in California either, but I think the only other place I could probably live is maybe Ohio.
I'm just sick of how expensive everything is here. It's just ridiculous right now.
Yeah, it is.
It's absolutely asinine.
I've been seeing these videos of people going into Canadian grocery stores and like showing the prices of things up there.
Yeah.
What's up with that, Joe? Are groceries like outrageous? Are groceries really outrageous up there?
They did go up, but I can't complain. But it did go up.
Weekend groceries.
At least a couple $100.
Couple hundred just for yourself?
Yeah, it's not all the time, but it could get pricey. Like
that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it could get pricey for sure. Quick, it depends. You gotta know how to shop, I guess, a little bit and be smart.
We're having to get a little more conscious of spending and stuff because it's just getting ridiculous, you know. So
hey, what did I do?
I don't know. Did something nice.
You talk about Ohio or something? Where does Don?
Oh, maybe that was it. I could live in Ohio because it's very similar to Michigan, just obviously better.
Isn't it just like you used to do that drive on a daily when you're
dude,
you used to drive down to
Ohio.
like all over
Cleveland,
Ohio,
Columbus.
Like he would literally get a phone call and say, "Hey, Bill, emergency service call came in for a light bulb. Go down to Ohio." Like legit, that happened. Like
yeah. There was
you'd have to go over there and unscrew a light bulb and put one in.
There was one time over a weekend where a restaurant lost power, and I had to go there just to watch the utility guys dig up the parking lot, find it, and fix it. Overtime. My overtime day was almost 15 hours of just sitting in the parking lot, watching them dig up the whole parking lot. And they're like, what am I doing here?
Don says a gallon of milk in Ontario is $14. I think it's less than that.
And they even sell it in a bag, right?
Yeah, we have
bags. Milk in a bag. What the hell is that? It's like a Viper freaking coil cleaning bag or what? It's like a little thing you twist off and you pour it.
How does it not leak? I don't understand that.
You know, I'm surprised with you being a Midwestern, Bill. You guys don't have it. I know. I'm pretty sure Wisconsin does.
That's why.
But bags with milk is genius.
Why? I don't understand. Like, how do you store it in a fridge? It's just like
you have a container. You put it in. It comes with a container, and you.
Oh, so you mean like a carton?
Not a carton. Wait, not a carton. It's a plastic.
Are you talking about a liner that we used to put in a bottle? Like you drop the bottle liner in there and then you pour the formula in and shake it up, like, and then you'd screw the top on the bottle.
Kind of. Like you go to Canada, you buy a bag of milk, and you go home, and then you put it in your home container, but you don't dump it in there. It just sits inside like a plastic container.
Yes,
and that's how you pour it. Which I'm like, well, why you just sell it in a carton like we do here? Because
how do you put like people that go lost their faces on the carton of milk?
They don't do that anymore. I heard they don't.
I don't think
stopped
they
doing
do.
that.
Actually, when we were kids, they did that. Now our milk comes in giant plastic bottles that we've now learned is giving us BPA toxins, and it's killing the sea turtles. And
that's why we do bags.
And the recycling hype that, well, but use plastic because it's recyclable. And then they found out that like that was all a big scam, and recycling is nothing, and it literally just gets buried in the ground.
It just goes in the same place.
They literally realized that taking the plastic and trying to melt it down and make something new out of it for the most part is just a waste of money. So it's just.
I said long ago, like anything that is made anywhere in the United States that is like disposable should be, I don't know, should be some sort of regulation that says if it's disposable, it also needs to be biodegradable to a degree. Like that should be the one thing. Like you can make all the disposable shit you want, but it better be biodegradable to some extent.
Right.
But we're just like, just fucking put in the earth. We don't care.
No.
We got fucking mountains of garbage in our country.
It's
and
funny.
we're like,
We were looking at houses a few years ago before, well, actually more than a few years ago, before we moved to this house. We were looking at houses and kind of in the area that I'm in now. And there was this new housing tract they were building. And as we were driving up, I said, nope. And my wife goes, what's wrong? And I go, that is a really, really old trash dump. And she goes, what do you mean? That's a mountain. And I go, no, they don't landscape mountains. They don't landscape mountains and make them look all pretty and tiered. I go, no, that's an old school trash dump. And it was like
sticking
right
out
above the house.
Yeah.
Over like here, we've made them into ski hills. I forget the name of one. There's a Michigan one that's like a semi-famous ski hill now. But it's just trash. You're just skiing down layers and layers of trash.
So before we wrap it up, I wanted to point something out too. Facebook made a huge change, and we can no longer stream to the group. So I don't know if anybody's watching this on YouTube that used to watch it on Facebook. We can stream to our Facebook page, of which I shared a link in the group, but it's not the same as how it used to just pop up in the overtime group. It doesn't do that anymore. So I don't know what Facebook was thinking when they did that, but for whatever reason.
I want to answer that guy. But I could have sworn I seen it pop up on Facebook, dude. That's why I was putting to the screen, my phone. It looked like it was going on Facebook.
Page. It's because I shared it. It's the HVAC Overtime page. But before we used to stream to the Overtime page and the Facebook group.
Gotcha.
And we can't stream to the group anymore. So,
I'll give you a big dump, Will Speed.
Yep.
Big Tom, good to see you. Almost every single canned food is lined. Sorry, but it's lined 100%. With BPA.
Yeah, because the cans that your food comes in that you take a can opener for, they line those with plastic, so it's not just a can anymore. So that's why you can't. In the past, they would advertise that you could take your baked beans and you would heat them up on the fire. Just take the top off the can and heat them up.
Right.
You're melting the plastics that's inside.
Dude, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
Jonathan Hughes, when a child is teething, I was taught to rub bourbon on their gums, and some lady got mad at me. She got mad because she thought I was giving them alcohol.
I mean, you are giving them alcohol, right?
When I was a baby, my family doctor, that's what he told my parents was, and he was serious.
Thanks,
he goes, when your kid is teething, what he told my parents was, you pour a shot, you take your finger, you dip it in, you rub it on his gums, you drink the shot. And then you repeat until either the baby stops crying or you pass out.
Oh, see, I rub it on my gums, then I give the baby the shot. Yeah. I better write that down.
Exactly.
You better write down that button too to end the show before it starts going to tangents of microwaves with Michael's comment, with your shot. And I just see it going that way. I can foresee the future.
All right.
So it's been an hour. And
I got a new baby coming, so who knows?
Hopefully next week our fearless leader will be back, and I won't screw everything up. Everybody hold him to it, because he said this will be the last show that he missed. So
we'll see.
We'll see. All right, we will catch you guys later. Have a good weekend.
Guys, thanks for coming.